Hey warriors, have you ever felt like everyone's sleeping while you're grinding? Yeah, they're watching, and not just casually. They see your moves, your silence, your fire, and guess what? They're taking notes every single moment. You've been underestimated, ignored, pushed aside, and still you keep going. Still, you rise. Still, you plot. And that's exactly why this video exists. Just for you. To show you the truth they don't want you to know. Stick with me till the end. Because every second, every word will hit like a punch in the chest. And trust me, by the time you finish watching, you're gonna see yourself differently. Sharper, stronger, unstoppable. Well, you know what I mean. Welcome to our channel, Darkness Throne. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Yeah, I mean it. I want to hear which part cut you deep and which part lit your fire. Because this isn't just a video. It's a mirror. It's a wake-up call. It's your battlefield. And I'm giving you the ammo. And yo, real talk. This one's for you. The silent grinders, the misunderstood warriors, the ones who stare at the world and think, I'll show them. Yeah, this is your tribute, your moment, your chaos, your fire, your spotlight. They've been watching, always, while you laughed at the world, while you hid your fury behind a crooked smile. Every twitch, every hesitation, every spark of brilliance, they logged it. You thought you were invisible, cute, harmless. But the truth? You were never unseen, not for a second. They saw the fire you tried to bury. You thought silence was safety. Thought being small, unnoticed, polite would keep you safe. How foolish. The quiet ones are the ones who erupt. The overlooked become the nightmare. Every glance you ignored, every sneer that cut too deep, they cataloged it all. And now they lean forward, waiting, curious, hungry. You've been underestimated, rejected, written off like yesterday's garbage, and it fueled you. Every insult, every sideways glance, every whisper meant for someone else burned into your veins. They don't know it yet, but this hunger you've carried, it's dangerous. They watch, yes, but they do not yet fear, not fully. Do you feel it? That electric tension that twists through your chest? That whisper in the back of your mind that laughs when the world sneers? That is your power. Not the smiles, not the agreements, not the polite nods. No. The power is in what they cannot measure. The chaos inside you. The storm waiting to break loose. They think they control it. They think observation equals domination. Huh. Observation is only as dangerous as the observed. And you are beyond their spreadsheets, their reports, their neat little files. You are the glitch, the spark that leaps across their calculations and burns them. They cannot predict the way you bend. Look at them. Picture them, hunched over, pens in hand, eyes scanning, thinking they understand. They don't. And that is beautiful. Every moment they spend trying to categorize you is a moment wasted. Every second they underestimate the quiet fire is another step closer to chaos. You are alive in ways they will never survive. You know that hunger. The one that gnaws at you when the world sleeps. The one that never shuts up. It chews through your patience. It whispers through your ribs. It reminds you that you were never built for small corners or quiet victories. Others call it ambition, not you. For you, it feels like a beast pacing inside your chest, waiting, scratching, demanding more. And every time you swallow it down, it grows sharper. People think hunger is poetic. They throw little phrases at it and pretend they understand. But real hunger, the kind you carry, it stains everything you touch. It twists your thoughts until even your dreams have edges. It makes you look at life with a grin that scares polite minds, because you know what it's like to want deeply, aggressively, quietly. You've mastered the art of craving without begging. They never saw it. Never noticed the way your jaw tightened when opportunity passed you by. Never caught the flicker in your eyes when someone else got the prize you worked for. They don't realize you were learning in silence. While they celebrated simple wins, you were studying patterns, watching weaknesses, counting the cracks in the system. Hunger sharpened your attention. Silence trained your patience. A lethal mixture. You carried it alone, because the world pretends to celebrate effort, but it fears intensity. Your intensity. They want you polite, predictable, easy to comfort, and easy to ignore. But you never fit that box. Not even once. Your hunger never let you. It kept you awake when you wanted peace. It shook your ribs when you tried to calm down. It made you restless in moments others felt joy. That discomfort, that's the blueprint of every transformation they never saw coming. And the best part? Hunger never lies. It tells you exactly who you are. It strips away the masks, the excuses, the little stories you tell yourself. It leaves you raw, honest, unfiltered. When people doubted you, hunger stayed. When they mocked your plans, hunger laughed. When the world pretended you were ordinary, hunger refused to shrink. That's why you're still here. That's why they're starting to look again. Harder now, longer now. But here's the twist. Hunger doesn't just reshape you. It exposes them. It shows you who applauds when you fail, who tenses when you rise, who pretends to guide you while quietly hoping you break. The sharper your hunger grows, the clearer their intentions become. And you see it now, don't you? The shifts, the stares, the sudden caution in their voices. They can sense it, that surge inside you, that growing pressure, that whisper that says your time is no longer coming, it's here. There's a shadow behind you, not the kind cast by light, but the kind carved by everything you've survived. It follows you because it was made by you, crafted from every silence you swallowed, every wound you stitched shut without complaint, every moment you endured when the world tried to shrink you. They sense it when you enter a room, that quiet pressure, that edge, that presence, and it unsettles them. They pretend not to notice. They joke, they smile, they speak with hollow ease, but their eyes flicker, just for a moment, a small twitch, a little shift. They try to act calm, but their nerves betray them, because your shadow isn't soft. It isn't polite. It carries weight. It carries truth. It carries the parts of you they hoped you'd bury. But shadows don't bury. They expand. Your shadow is built from all the things they never wanted you to learn. The strength you cultivated in lonely hours. The precision you earned through repeated failure. The resilience carved from disappointment. These are the elements they cannot calculate. They can measure smiles, they can measure weakness, but they cannot measure grit. And yours? It's the kind that makes people step back without knowing why. For years, you tried to hide that shadow, tried to lighten it, blur it, make yourself easier to digest. But every time you tried to shrink it, it clawed its way back, larger, sharper, more defined. Because it wasn't meant to disappear. It was meant to protect you, to remind you, to anchor you. And now finally, you let it walk beside you without shame. That choice alone shifts everything. People fear what they can't manipulate. They fear depth. They fear the silent kind of strength. They fear anyone who has tasted defeat and still shows up with a crooked grin. That's what your shadow represents. It tells them you've been broken before and rebuilt yourself without permission. It tells them you learned the rules just to bend them. It tells them you're no longer playing small, and that terrifies them more than anything. And the best part? Your shadow isn't your enemy. It's your warning label. It speaks before you do. It announces your resilience without a single word. It unsettles those who underestimate you. It steadies those who stand with you. It reminds you that you are not defined by their comfort or their approval. You are defined by your endurance, your clarity, your refusal to fade. They fear your shadow because it reveals the truth. You are done hiding and they are out of time. Every face you've shown the world was a lie. A carefully folded mask, smiles painted on, politeness stitched in. Every laugh rehearsed, every nod a performance. You wore it to survive. You wore it to blend. You wore it because they demanded it. And in wearing it, you forgot. Sometimes you even fooled yourself. The mask became comfortable, heavy, sticky with compromise. You started to believe it was you, that your edges could be softened, that your fire could be dimmed, that the world deserved a version of you that was safe. Safe for them, safe for the rules, safe enough to ignore. But masks don't change truth. They only hide it temporarily. Behind it, you burned. Hidden beneath the curated smiles and quiet manners, a storm gathered. Frustration, rage, ambition, cunning, all coiled like a serpent waiting. They never saw it. They never noticed the glint in your eyes when you were alone. They never caught the whispers you muttered to yourself, plotting, planning, waiting for the moment to shatter the illusion. And the moment comes, always. The mask slips, the cracks appear. One mistake, one glance too sharp, one word too honest. The mask peels, and suddenly the world sees a shadow behind the face. Not the face they wanted, not the obedient one. They see you. They see your fire. They see the chaos and clarity that they tried to erase. And they flinch. Masks are comforting until they aren't, until they fall, until you remember that they were never yours to begin with, that your authenticity was trapped under layers of concession, that you owe nothing to the opinions, the charts, the whispered judgments of anyone, that truth, your truth, is heavy, sharp, and magnificent, and it cannot be contained. So peel it off, let it drop. Watch the air ripple. Watch the people shift uncomfortably. Listen to the silence that follows. You don't need approval. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. The mask is gone. You are present. You are dangerous. And for the first time, the world can't pretend it understands who you are. They told you to look in the mirror, told you to measure yourself against reflections that were never yours. Every crack, every flaw, every imperfection highlighted like it was a crime. They handed you mirrors like weapons, told you to bend to them, and you stared too long. You learned, you plotted, and slowly you broke them. Mirrors lie. They reflect what others want you to see. They whisper limitations. They echo fears. They show approval and rejection as if those were truths. But truth doesn't live in glass. It lives in the fire behind your eyes, in the moments you chose to endure when no one was watching, in the chaos that hums in your veins. Mirrors never taught you that, so you shattered them. Piece by piece, small breaks at first, tiny fractures in expectation, then larger, deeper cracks, until the reflection you saw was no longer theirs. It became yours. Distorted, twisted, beautiful, dangerous, unrecognizable. And in that broken image, you finally recognized yourself. Not the one they demanded, not the one they could tolerate. You finally recognized yourself. And when they look now, when they see you, whole in ways they never understood, they panic. Because you cannot be cataloged. You cannot be explained. You cannot be predicted. Their data, their whispers, their careful maps, they crumble under the weight of someone who refuses the reflection handed to them. You exist beyond their comprehension. Breaking the mirrors isn't just rebellion. It's liberation. It's claiming a self that has no permission slip. It's walking in a world designed to limit you and proving it is too small, too rigid, too soft, too afraid. And with every shard you scatter, every reflection you destroy, you teach them a truth they can't unsee. The strongest reflections are forged, not given. Now look at the space where the mirrors used to be. Empty, clean, and terrifying. Because in that emptiness, there is only you. Sharp, focused, chaotic, ready. And the world can no longer offer illusions to hide behind. The mask has fallen. The mirrors are gone. And what stands in their place is a force that doesn't ask, doesn't wait, doesn't apologize. It simply exists and dominates. Silence speaks, not the polite quiet of rooms with soft lamps and friendly chatter. No, the silence that teaches is sharp, cold. It hums under your skin like electricity. Every ignored word, every dismissal, every time they left you alone, they were teaching you lessons you weren't ready to hear. But you learned anyway. In the silence, you listened. Not to them, not to the noise of approval or applause. You listened to yourself, to the rhythms of thought they tried to suppress, to the sparks of ideas they thought were too dangerous. Every ignored warning became a map. Every overlooked glance became a guide. You were learning the game while they laughed. Silence is cruel. It isolates, it punishes, it makes you feel invisible. But that cruelty is a teacher if you survive it. Every hour of waiting, every moment of patience, every second you endured what others dismissed, you were building something. Not muscle, not charm, not skill they could mimic. Something sharper. Something permanent. The quiet reveals the truth. People are small. Institutions are fragile. Systems are brittle. And the world doesn't owe you anything. It whispers lies to keep you compliant. It pretends to reward loyalty. It pretends to nurture potential. But in the silence, stripped of illusion, you see it, clear. The world is not kind. It is merely a testing ground. And you pass the test because you endured what others ran from. You embraced what others ignored. You listened when everyone shouted. You watched when everyone acted. Every quiet moment is a weapon. Every ignored insult a tool. You are learning faster than they can track, smarter than they can plan, sharper than they can measure. So lean into the silence. Let it sink into your bones. Let it sharpen your mind and ignite your patience. Let it twist frustration into focus and neglect into strategy. The world thinks it has left you alone. The world thinks you are weak. But in silence, you have grown beyond their grasp. You have learned. And now the quiet is no longer a prison. It is your edge. Whoa, we made it. You stuck through every word, every punch, every truth. That's why I respect you. Real ones only. You weren't just watching, you were leveling up, absorbing, transforming, and now they're watching you. Remember this? What you've learned today isn't just for show, it's ammunition. Every glance they gave you, every doubt they threw, every silent moment you endured, it built this version of you. And that version is dangerous, sharp, untouchable. Well, you get it. Drop a comment right now. Tell me which line hit you hardest. I want to see the sparks, the fire, the rage, the power awakening inside you. Don't hold back. The world isn't ready for your truth, but we are. And yo, this one's a tribute to you, the watchers, the grinders, the misunderstood warriors who don't just survive, they rise, they dominate, they break expectations. You carried this journey with me, and that means everything. If you learned something, felt that fire, or just got a little shook, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to see this. Because energy like this, it's contagious. And the world is watching. So go ahead, step into your power. Keep building, keep breaking, keep shining, because they've been watching. And now, they're going to thank you in person. See you next time. Don't stop. Aha, my people. You feel that shift lately, huh? The weird energy creeping back, the faces you buried in silence, suddenly showing signs of life again. Oh, the same ones who left you in chaos. Now plotting, whispering, planning their way back into your peace. You ever notice how quiet gets loud before something returns? Yeah, that's not coincidence. That's strategy. They've been watching your every move, your glow, your progress, your silence, and it's driving them mad. They thought you'd break, but instead you built a fortress out of patience. Oh, this isn't a random month, my friend. This is the month of exposure. Someone, mark my words, someone's gonna reach out soon. Not out of love, not out of guilt, but out of curiosity. They want to see if they still hold a key to a door that doesn't exist anymore. Stay locked in till the end. Every second of this message builds into something you'll feel in your bones. Drop your thoughts below. Let me hear from my warriors, my thinkers, my ones who rise through silence. They left your name in silence, but silence has a way of screaming back. Oh, You can feel it, can't you? That faint hum in the air, the tension, the energy that doesn't quite belong to peace. It's the whisper before the storm, the vibration before the fall. People think you've forgotten. They think you've moved on. They think the book closed, the chapter burned, the ashes scattered. But here's the twist, the one they never see coming. You can't burn what refuses to die. Every plot that was buried is breathing again. Every secret conversation that used to circle your name is being rewritten, this time with fear in the ink. Oh wow, you thought they were done? Nah, they've been watching, waiting, plotting their return like ghosts, rehearsing a comeback no one asked for. They want to slip through the cracks they once escaped from, pretending it's nothing personal. But it's always personal, isn't it? Because you were never just another player in their game. You were the one that ended it. Now they're circling again, pretending they're different, that they've changed, but their tone betrays them. The world spins fast, but patterns, they crawl back in familiar footsteps. And this month, yes, this month, one of them will reach out. You'll feel it before it happens, that sudden stillness in the chest, that slight pull in the atmosphere when energy shifts. Someone's rehearsing what to say, how to sound innocent, how to enter the fortress you rebuilt with silence and scars. You see, when people lose control of your mind, they crave access to your peace, and peace, real peace, terrifies them because they can't manipulate calm. They can't control someone who no longer reacts. They can't decode someone who learned to stay silent while the world screams. Oh yeah, silence is your most dangerous weapon now. You don't need to explain. You don't need to prove. You just exist with precision, and that shakes their entire illusion. Here's the thing. When people plot against you, it's not about hatred. It's about confusion. They can't understand how someone they underestimated walked away and rose higher. They want a rematch, not to win, but to make sense of how they lost in the first place. They need closure. You don't. They crave your attention because they lost their purpose the moment you stopped feeding their relevance. That's the true hunger to be seen again by the one who learned how to look right through them. But don't flinch. Don't get loud. You've mastered the art of letting karma do the talking. You learned that when truth sits still long enough, lies suffocate, trying to breathe above it. Every fake smile, every hidden motive, every friendly message, all of it folds under the weight of patience. That's why they come back. Not because they miss you, because they miss the version of themselves that looked stronger standing next to you. You're not the same character they left behind. You've upgraded in silence, built your edges sharper, your boundaries colder, your presence heavier. They're plotting with an old map, not realizing you've redrawn the terrain. Every path they think leads to you now leads to a lesson. Every "hey, how have you been?" comes with a test disguised as small talk. You'll recognize it the moment it hits, that old energy trying to wear new clothes. You'll smile, not out of arrogance, but awareness, because you've seen this play before. You wrote the ending. Oh, and they won't understand why you're so calm, why your tone doesn't shake, why your eyes don't carry the same heat they remember. That's because calm isn't weakness, it's control. It's not that you don't feel, it's that you've learned where to place the fire. inside, not out. And the irony. They think they're the ones planning. But you've already seen 10 steps ahead. You've been playing chess while they were busy gossiping about checkers. You don't announce your moves anymore. You let the silence echo until their own thoughts expose them. Because that's what silence does. It amplifies the truth. It breaks the masks. It forces people to face their reflection. And oh, they can't stand that mirror. That's why they're coming back, to escape their own guilt by walking back into your light. Pain used to be your weakness. Now it's your weapon. Oh yeah. You remember how it felt, that sting of betrayal, the chaos of confusion, the silence that followed when everyone turned away? You remember it because it carved something into you. It wasn't just hurt, it was instruction. Every wound that once drained you taught you where not to stand again. And that's what they never understood. The pain didn't destroy you, it educated you. They thought you'd crumble. They thought you'd beg for closure, for answers, for clarity. Nah, you didn't beg. You built quietly, relentlessly. Brick by invisible brick, you turned every insult into structure, every loss into calculation. While they plotted your fall, you learned how to rise without applause. You stopped needing validation because you discovered something far more powerful, peace without permission. Now when they look at you, they don't recognize what they're seeing. You used to be predictable, now you're unreadable. You used to react, now you observe. You used to chase understanding, now you are understanding. It confuses them, frustrates them, even scares them a little. Because they're looking at someone who survived everything they sent and came out colder, cleaner, calmer. Oh wow, that stillness you wear now, that's not indifference. That's evolution. See, when you no longer bleed, their weapons become useless. They throw shade, and it lands on concrete. They whisper lies, but you've outgrown the frequency of gossip. You used to fight for truth. Now you let truth do its own fighting. You've learned that energy exposes itself when left alone long enough. That's the mastery. Not reacting, just watching. And they can't handle that. Because your silence feels like judgment. Your composure feels like punishment. People who once controlled you with chaos now find themselves screaming into the void, hoping for a reaction, any sign that you still care. But you don't. Not out of pride, but precision. You've learned the difference between mercy and foolishness, between forgiving and re-inviting, between understanding and returning. Oh, that last one stings, doesn't it? Because it's the truth. Some people mistake your peace for weakness and your distance for arrogance, but you know better. You're not angry anymore, you're aware. And awareness changes everything. It makes you unpredictable. It makes you immune. You can look someone in the eyes and see every hidden motive swimming behind their words and still smile, calm as ever. Because once you've bled enough to drown, you stop fearing the rain. Once you've seen betrayal up close, fake kindness becomes comedy. And once you've mastered restraint, people mistake it for softness until they realize restraint is the sharpest form of power. That's what you've become now. Controlled danger. You don't explode, you calculate. You don't react, you respond. You don't chase revenge, you let time do the sculpting. Because you've seen what time does to lies. It rots them from within, You don't need to swing anymore. Patience hits harder. Oh, but make no mistake, they're coming back anyway. Someone always does. Because unresolved guilt is heavier than pride. They'll message, they'll circle, they'll pretend it's casual, maybe even friendly. But underneath the surface, it's never about reunion. It's about redemption. Sometimes the real test isn't who knocks. It's whether you still feel the need to answer. The moment always comes. That quiet second when your screen lights up, your chest tightens for half a breath, and memory tries to pull rank over logic. It's not weakness, it's reflex. After all, the same mind that built your strength remembers the weight of your past. But you stop yourself. You pause. You don't rush to reply anymore. You've learned that not every message deserves an audience, and not every knock deserves a welcome. This is the battlefield no one talks about, the war between instinct and growth. You see, it's not about ignoring people. It's about respecting the peace you bled to earn. That's what they don't get. To them, time apart means you've softened. To you, it means you've healed. They want access. You want distance. They want comfort. You want clarity. And that difference is what separates the old you from the current one. Oh yeah. They'll try every trick in the book. The "I was just thinking about you." The "it's been so long." The casual tone hides serious intent, but you'll catch it instantly now, because your discernment sharpened in silence. You see patterns faster, energy clearer, motives louder. It's not paranoia, it's perception. You know exactly what they're trying to test, whether your heart still opens the way it used to. But it doesn't. Not out of cruelty, out of wisdom, because forgiveness doesn't always mean access. You can wish them well and still walk away. You can be kind and still close the door. Boundaries aren't walls, they're locks built by experience. And you, my friend, have learned how to keep your peace guarded like treasure, because that's what it is. Treasure earned through loss, through loneliness, through long nights where you had to face yourself and rebuild from nothing. They're not ready for the version of you that no longer explains, the version that just looks, nods, and moves on. Oh, that stillness is deadly. It confuses them because they expect chaos, they expect emotion. But all they get now is calm. And calm terrifies the manipulative. Because calm means control. Calm means awareness. Calm means you've won. Yeah. They'll feel it too, the imbalance. They'll feel that they no longer have the power to disrupt your rhythm. It'll eat at them quietly. That realization that you've become untouchable, not by force, but by alignment. You no longer chase outcomes. You let truth reveal itself over time. That's discipline. That's mastery. That's the mindset that separates those who heal from those who repeat. Now, the question isn't whether they'll come back. It's what you'll do when they do. You see, some doors are meant to stay closed, not because of hate, but because of growth. You're not punishing anyone. You're protecting your peace. And the more you protect it, the more they'll mistake your silence for ego. Let them. You don't need to convince anyone that your boundaries are necessary. The ones who belong in your life won't test them. The hardest battle is the one that happens when no one's watching, between who you were and who you refuse to be again. Here it is, the part they'll never see. The invisible test. Not the one where someone knocks or tempts or speaks sweetly in disguise. No, this one's quieter. It happens when the world sleeps and your thoughts start whispering. It's not about others this time. It's about you. Because once you close the door on old faces, you still have to face the shadows they left behind. That's the real test, not letting old pain guide new choices. You've mastered silence on the outside, but what about inside? The noise within you, the doubts, the memories, the unfinished thoughts. That's where discipline truly begins. You can't outsmart it, can't outrun it. You have to sit with it. And that's where strength evolves from appearance to essence. People see your calm. They don't see the storms you've had to silence to earn it. They see composure. They don't see the nights you wrestled your own impatience. Growth isn't glamorous. It's gritty. It's the kind of work that leaves no applause. No witnesses, just you and the weight of your choices. It's not about pretending to be strong. It's about becoming strong by choosing restraint when everything inside you wants to react. You learn that power doesn't come from dominance. It comes from self-command, because you can conquer others 1,000 times and still lose the battle within if you can't control your response. And this is where many fail. They think silence means nothing's happening. But silence is where transformation begins. It's where ego loses its grip, where patience is forged, where your focus sharpens until you can see the motive behind every move. The same people plotting to return, the same voices trying to pull you backward. They're not the danger. The danger is when you start believing you've already won. The moment you think the test is over, that's when you lose focus. Nah, the test never ends. It just changes form. It's no longer about surviving others. It's about mastering yourself. That's why you feel that quiet pull some nights, that whisper that says you're slipping. It's a reminder that discipline isn't built once. It's maintained daily. Every thought you entertain, every emotion you feed, every silence you break, all of it either strengthens or weakens you. You've come too far to let your mind betray your progress. Remember, the ones planning to return, they don't just test your boundaries, they test your evolution. If you let your emotions lead again, you give them back the map they once used to navigate you. But if you remain centered, calm, deliberate, you turn their curiosity into confusion. They'll come expecting the old you and meet the quiet strength they can't manipulate. Oh, that's the power of transformation. Not loud, not flashy, just steady. You win not by reacting, but by staying grounded when chaos calls your name. That's what separates the awakened from the unaware. One responds with wisdom, the other with impulse. So the next time that silence starts to test you, don't run from it. Listen, it's not trying to break you. It's training you. Because the calm you've built isn't just survival anymore, it's preparation. When the past knocks, it's not a memory, it's a measurement. The energy shifts before it happens. You feel it, that faint vibration under your calm, that sense that something's approaching, something you already defeated once. And then it happens. A message, a name, a voice you thought had vanished reappears like a ghost trying to step back into the story. But this time, you don't panic. You don't overthink. You don't tremble. You just watch. Because you know what this is. It's not a reunion, it's a test of your transformation. They come softly now, don't they? Careful words, gentle tone, pretending it's nothing serious. Oh yeah. They'll act like it's just a coincidence, that they just wanted to check in. But deep down, you can feel it. The intention behind the politeness. They're not here for peace. They're here for access, because they can sense that your energy has shifted, and they want to see if the door they once broke through is still open. But it isn't. Not anymore. Nah. This isn't the same arena they once fought you in. You've rebuilt it into something sacred. A space guarded by patience, awareness, and self-respect. You don't need to slam the door in their face. Your calm does that for you. You don't need to explain the distance, your silence already did. They'll realize as they stare into your stillness that they no longer live in the same chapter as you. You moved forward, and they stayed rehearsing the past. Oh, how unsettling. That must feel for them, to face the version of you that no longer bends, no longer entertains, no longer bleeds. You've become what most people fear, consistent. The kind of consistency that makes manipulation impossible. You don't argue, you don't react, you don't justify. You just exist in truth. And truth, when unshakable, is louder than any apology. It's poetic, isn't it? The very ones who thought they could replace you, erase you, or redefine you, now want your acknowledgement to validate their own change. But you see through it, because growth isn't proven through words, it's revealed through actions. And most people want forgiveness without responsibility. You don't deny them grace, you just deny them access. Because your peace is not a revolving door, it's earned, not borrowed. Oh, that's the twist, isn't it? The one they didn't expect. You don't hate them. You don't even resent them. You've simply outgrown them. And that's what unsettles their spirit. They expected anger, but got calm. They expected walls, but found mirrors. Because now, when they speak to you, they're not talking to the same person. They're facing the reflection of their own choices. And that's where the real reckoning happens. Not in revenge, not in confrontation, but in silence. The silence that forces truth to echo. The silence that shows who evolved and who remained stuck in performance. You've passed the test, not because they came back, but because you didn't fall back. You stood your ground, without shouting, without proving, without breaking character. That's the highest form of victory. Oh yeah, that's what growth looks like. Unbothered, unshaken, untouched. The kind of calm that comes from mastering a reaction. You learn that peace isn't about avoiding storms. It's about walking through them without losing your balance. Every trial, every betrayal, every moment of pain was shaping this version of you. The one that doesn't chase, doesn't crumble, doesn't need validation. The one that moves with purpose, not emotion. So when people plot, when they whisper, when they return, let them. You've already seen this movie, and you know exactly how it ends. You don't need to rewrite the script, just close the curtain, because you've learned something priceless. Sometimes the best response isn't anger or kindness, it's elevation. And that's the twist. They're plotting to come back, but you're not waiting anymore. Stay calm, stay sharp. And when they reach out this month, smile, because you already saw it coming. Drop a comment if you felt that shift. This one's for the ones who outgrew the noise,